Hey y'all, welcome back. I want you to remember this is a personal business, but you shouldn't take it personally. But I also want you to remember that even though you're a person, you're also a business. And as a business, you have taken all this time to set goals that will keep you, aka the business, functioning. So in this exercise, you're going to lay out some rules for your business. Rules are different than goals, but they are essential to keep you on track for those goals. You know, the craziest thing happens when you get into real estate. You instantly become independently wealthy. Ha! Of course you don't. It's quite the opposite, really. But isn't it crazy how now suddenly everyone in your life seems to think that you're a lady who lunches? Even if you're a dude? In 20 years of this business, I've yet to meet a single real estate agent ever, man or woman, who doesn't have at least one person in their life who seems to think, because you don't have your own boss, now you're readily available for literally anything, running errands, or hour-long phone calls 15 times a day, or helping them clean out their garage, or being the go-to person every single time for pickup at school, whatever it is. And maybe that is why you got into real estate in the first place, because you wanted to have that kind of flexibility. But I am telling you from experience over the past 20 years of working with literally hundreds of agents, you will never have the kind of flexibility that you're wanting in the first place unless you set rules for yourself and also the expectations for the people in your life that actually align with your clearly defined goals. I'll never forget a conversation I had with my mother. I was in my 20s, so it was a while ago, but she seemed almost offended one day when I wasn't able to talk. And in her defense, that year I was pregnant with my first child, so it was a milestone for us all. And she was accustomed to us talking about it a lot. It was 2007, and I had just upped the ante with my GCI goals. I added 2 more agents to my team, and then planning out my maternity leave while still needing to make it rain for my 4-man team. Well, it had me vexed, okay? I was feeling the pressure. And I had to turn my prospecting game way up and my personal calls way down. Now listen, my mother is a cardiac intensive care nurse, okay? I could call her at work if it's an emergency, but her job is intense and people's lives are on the line. So I really try not to. When she got kind of short with me about me not being available, I said, "Mom, what if I called you while someone was coding? I wouldn't be offended that you couldn't talk to me right now. Someone's life is in your hands. I have a lot of people's lives in my hands and one in my belly." Well, she corrected me that it was my uterus and not my belly, but I think for the first time ever, she realized that just because as a realtor I'm kind of always working, that didn't mean that I was also always available. And viewing my real estate job as a real job, just like her real job, helped mend that fence. But it also, at that time, it made me realize right then and there that we must have these rules defined for ourselves and the expectations set for the people who support our real estate dreams. Otherwise, we'll be living a bit of a real estate nightmare. How do you feel when you haven't completed a goal? Kind of bummed out, right? And when you feel like you're always working, well then you also feel burned out. So reignite your fire for this business by laying out some ground rules for a business, and then take the time to set the expectation with the people in your life who help support those rules. So if you're not sure where to begin, remember, we've laid out your goals and we have an outline for how many calls you need to make and how many appointments that you need to set. We did that within that one-page business plan, right? Another tool I definitely recommend, and I have used in every phase of my career over these past 20 years, is a checklist. And that's how I've known that I've done all the things that I needed to do that day or that week to get me to my goals. I've attached mine for you. It's also in the planner. And guys, literally, I've done a variation of this exact same checklist in 5 different phases of my career and in 3 totally different markets. And I'm telling you, it works. Hence why I call it the Millionaire Maker Checklist. A good first rule, a great first rule actually, is no personal calls until you've completed everything on your daily checklist. Some other rules to define are the hours that you make yourself available for work, the days that you want to not be working, any vacation or holiday plans, and perhaps the biggest one is what's your family emergency plan. That one is really tricky because you really do have to think about your business as a business, and it's especially difficult if your partner or spouse and their real job with a boss, more importantly a paycheck, doesn't take your real estate job seriously. So may I suggest compromise? Like if your kids are sick, you're willing to take the afternoon shift if they can take the morning shift, or vice versa, something like that. This is where you need to show them the money so you can really show them the money. Doing this will also help you to feel more respected as a professional. And that's what you need to quell that little voice in your head that makes you doubt what you're doing. Remind that little voice, hey, I'm the boss. And actually be the boss of your own business.